My family people, they know me embraces Islam, not from myself, from my mouth, from my friends. And later on they realized that I already embraced Islam, and well, basically after 2 years of example that I've shared at home, they cannot find any question to ask me to say, Islam is not good or things like that. They see that the example that I've shown, is good, and they accept it. Alhamdulillah. First thing is the name. That it embraces Islam in Malaysia, you are required to change your name. So because as a Chinese, we really hold to the Chinese, the tradition that where, if a person change a name, when a person embraces Islam in Malaysia, means you are Malay. So I really don't like to have an Arabic name actually, because I don't like people to call me Malay, the first thing. And the second thing, when I embrace Islam, the main problem for the Muslim in Malaysia actually is, for me especially, is that the food problem. Food. If you look at the Chinese community, the food that they commonly eat is those soup, unspicy food. But after embracing Islam, I was told by the Muslim that I'm not allowed to eat at home, and because the food that they eat are not halal, and I have to start to look for halal food. So the first thing, the main problem is I have to start to change my diet from not spicy food to very spicy food to spicy food. So the Malaysian food are so spicy, and the Muslim food are so spicy. So it is a problem for me. And also the attire. I was taught, you have to dress like this, you have to put on songkok, you have to dress Malay shirts, things like that. So this is a problem for me. Not only that, and then the main thing actually is that I'm going to lose most of my friends after embracing Islam. And I realize that. I will lose many of my friends because I can't join them for all those activities, like, as was mentioned earlier, to discos or for dating or things like that. But I realized that it is good for me actually. Well, initially I'll still go, but then I no more drinking. Initially, it don't stop, Well, those times I'm just a casual drinker. I just stopped drinking because I know that as a Muslim I'm not supposed to drink, but I still feel that it's quite okay to go to this place, because as long as you don't do something which is bad. Because my knowledge about Islam is so little. So later on, when I start to associate with many Muslims, then slowly I start to realize that in fact as a Muslim we are not supposed to go to this place, as not supposed to associate with women, this and that. So when I realized that, and then everything that I learn, I'll do my best to practice it. Of course, I can't just change it overnight. It takes time. I think the main person who don't talk to me actually is the only person is my pastor. Other than that, I think most of the other friends is they just, especially my church friends, they will stay away from me. After I've spoke to some of the brothers and sisters about comparative between Islam and Christianity, then I believe that the pastor will ask them to stay away from me. Other than that, I think most of my friends, they can accept a person embraces Islam in Malaysia right now for the Chinese. The only thing is that they just like to make fun of the Chinese, and when you embrace Islam, you are Malay. The majority, 80% of the Malaysians, they are so-called Buddhists. But Buddhists, as you said earlier, that you're not supposed to drink alcohol, you're supposed to a religion of peace and things like that. Are the Buddhists practicing it? In Malaysia, they are not following the teaching of the Buddha. They are not following it, and in fact, they do all most of, you see, for the Buddhists, most of the Buddhists in Malaysia, they can accept all these things, meaning that they don't think that this is something that which is bad in religion, in Buddhism. They can accept it, drinking alcohol, gambling, womanizing. This is part of the life. I think some of my sisters, they try to hint me that actually I'm in a religion that very dangerous religion. Some terrorists, these religions that people who don't use their head, who like to kill. And what I do is that I reacted it very calmly, and I just explained to them. So, and I explained to them that, well, If the American have the proof, then they should show the proof. But until today, they don't show anything. Even they have the proof. Even the American have the proof. But they are Christian nation. So as a Christian nation, they should follow the teaching of the Bible. So according to the Bible, that they should follow what the Jesus said. So what I say to them, I say they should love the enemy. They should love the enemy and they shouldn't kill the enemy. And well, Jesus said, when people slap a left cheek, give the right one. When people take your coat, give your clothes. When people ask you to walk 1 mile, walk 2 miles. And when people destroy 2 of a building, probably you can give another 2. So if they are following the teaching of Jesus, then you won't see any war. Even things won't happen. This war, American attacking Afghanistan, it won't happen. But basically, what I'm trying to say actually is that if they have a proof, I explain to them that Islam this doesn't allow all these things. Meaning that if a Muslim who does it, then we never support it, because Islam is a peace religion, and Islam is a religion that we cannot kill somebody without any reason. And if this done by the Muslim, if we kill people without any reason, then we won't support it. Well, I feel that it is good that I've gone through all this sweet and sour. In fact, all these things, from Buddhism to Christianity, it's just like, I don't know, maybe this is Allah's plan, from Buddhism to Christianity. Buddhism, we believe many gods, meaning we pray to many idols. And when we come to Christianity, we start to pray to 3. And later on, come to Islam, to 1. So it's just like it takes time to stages. From many gods to 3 gods, then to 3 gods to 1 God. So I believe that, I don't know, but I always tell myself, maybe this is what Allah wants me to be, from Buddhism, Christianity, and to Islam. Well, first, not one tape that, that's a correction, not one tape that make me lose my faith towards Christianity. That series of tape, many tapes that I've gone through, and many studies that I've gone through, and discussion, and to check it out whether the Bible is the words of God, things like that. So far, alhamdulillah, well, many questions that people posted to me, alhamdulillah, and always Islam will always be able to provide the answer. Allah, Allah, Allah.